It's been announced that producer Robert Watts has passed away, aged 86. Robert is known for his involvement with film series like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. It's been announced that he died on Monday at his home in East Sussex. His rep, Julian Owen at Alliance Agents, told The Hollywood Reporter, "We were with him for a decade, taking him to conventions all over the world, where he could connect with fans and talk about his career." His decades-long career in the entertainment industry began with roles as a production manager and location manager. He's credited as a production supervisor on Star Wars: A New Hope, 1977, the first film in the original trilogy. This marked the start of his collaboration with filmmaker George Lucas and his production company Lucasfilm. Robert is credited as an associate producer on Star Wars sequel The Empire Strikes Back, 1980, and then as a co-producer on Return of the Jedi, 1983. Notably, his late brother Jeremy Bulloch was behind the Boba Fett costume in those two films. The collaboration between Robert and George extended beyond Star Wars, though, with them both working on the 3 original Indiana Jones films, too. George created the franchise and was an executive producer. The films were directed by Steven Spielberg, who himself worked with Robert on other projects. Robert is credited as an associate producer on the first Indiana Jones film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. He was then a producer on its sequels, The Temple of Doom, 1984, and The Last Crusade, 1989. He's also credited as a producer on films like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988, An American Tail, Fievel Goes West, 1991, and Alive, 1993. Whilst earlier in his career he's said to have been a production manager on 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968. Tributes have been paid following the news of his death. Former colleague Frank Marshall, who was a producer on some of the same films Robert worked on, wrote, "We have sadly lost another great one, Robert Watts, a producer on Alive and many Star Wars and Indiana Jones movies. He was loved by all who worked with him, and I learned a lot from his vast knowledge, wonderful spirit, and sense of humor. Sail on, dear friend, sail on." Whilst ITV News presenter David Whiteley wrote in his tribute, "This one hurts a hell of a lot. Farewell to a movie legend, a wonderful Hollywood producer, but above all a good friend. Robert was a true giant of Hollywood, with a great sense of humor, wit, and intelligence, but all with such humility, and was always overwhelmed when meeting his fans at conventions. Thank you, Robert, for everything. The Force will be with you always." One Star Wars fan account tweeted, "Watts' impact on Star Wars cannot be overstated after serving as production manager, associate producer, and co-producer of episodes IV and VI, respectively." Someone else wrote, "So sad to hear of the passing of #Robert Watts. A lovely man who always brought laughter with him whenever we hung out together, a great loss."